All right, you want to do our intro?
Yeah. Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments from our favorite K-dramas with you, our listeners.
And we're going to jump right in. So this is your one and only warning. Spoilers ahead. So if you haven't yet, go watch the episode, then come back and hang out with us so that we can talk about this episode together. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome to the K-Drama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the K-Drama Show with Ashley and Kim. So first you want to tease the Ashley tea.
Yes. We're working on it. Check out our Instagram. I will be updating as I get tea, just because it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And we will be having more and more of our product reviews, some interesting product reviews so far.
The random things that we do that
are just entertaining.
We're going to impose on you. So go check that out if you haven't yet. That's a great place to let us know if there's a drama you want to have us watch or review or just say hi. We'd love to hear from you.
Please, please, please.
All right. Episode 3 recap.
Okay. So, MiRae is stuck in her own bubble of insecurities once her, quote, secret of plastic surgery has become public knowledge. KyungSeok asks MiRae why she got surgery and tells her that she needed surgery on her unhealthy mindset and not her face.
Brutal.
Ooh. Sua tries to get on KyungSeok's good side after her actions and instead causes him to again call her out for her obvious intentions. Chanwoo gathers the freshman class and tries to assert his authority, and MiRae stands up to him. But he goes even further by trying to beat her up when KyungSeok shows up and teaches him a lesson instead. MiRae realizes that KyungSeok was right about her mindset and how she saw others, and she is beginning to realize who her real friends are. KyungSeok and MiRae share a meal together, and they are actually also becoming friends. MiRae accidentally hurts herself in the lab, causing Sua to get jealous of the attention, and Sua goes out of her way to also get hurt to again receive some more attention. And there's your episode 3 recap.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
So the drama with the flask in the lab resumes, and Sua is tending to her wound in a bathroom surrounded by her friends. And then after being rushed some ointment, she goes into a stall to apply it, and we can see that her wound, there's no actual visible damage to her leg, as she's wiping away the water with a tissue in the stall. So Sua approaches KyungSeok at the vending machine and thanks him for cleaning up after her, but he states it was not for you. You're always so prickly toward me. I find it impressive. And he says, impressive? I can't beat you on that front.
Her face.
I know.
Was fabulous.
Just falls.
Just like, oh no.
And he walks away. But JiHyo approaches and comments to Sua, it must be fun to be able to flirt with him like that. But interrupting that conversation are a bajillion and a half classmates that come sprinting down the hallway, all wanting to be her white knight. And then when she's like, I'm okay, and then they're like, oh, she's okay, and they start to applaud.
No.
That's like my worst nightmare.
Getting run at? Absolutely.
Getting run at, people looking at me, applauding in the hallway, bringing attention as we put a podcast out in
with
the
our
world.
faces.
It's fine.
Different type of attention.
I don't have to look you in the eye when you make fun of me for this. But later in the cafeteria, KyungSeok is checking on MiRae, asking if she truly was the one who broke the flask. And MiRae assures him that it was her fault. So at their table, Jungboon is lamenting that Yoojin doesn't like her dialect and comments that he is a face genius, all while MiRae has the flask incident kind of like rolling through the back of her mind after her conversation with KyungSeok. But Eun asks if Chanwoo has bothered MiRae since that day, because she actually overheard Woo-young's conversation with Chanwoo, scolding Chanwoo about the
like,
mop
I can't
incident.
ruin your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it together.
So
But then I also just love that she was like, it made me so uncomfortable knowing that I had to see him and I didn't want to be the class rep anymore. But after Woo-young, like, stood up for us, like, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Like, we're a fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I like that she said that in such a way that she wasn't singling out MiRae, whether or not she was scared, because she was trying to put on a brave front. But she's just like, hey, if you need something, he can, like, hold him back. Yeah.
He will help.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then we actually see a business meeting that is going on, and with the new head of Kellen. Thank you. See, my English brain is going to screw me up every time. Kellen. I'm going to have to write it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. But as she's running this meeting, we see that she ends up walking on the campus of Hankook, the university, and meets up with a professor, which is an old classmate of hers. And Woo-young actually comes up to them, and he had submitted a thesis that the professor had sent to this woman. And so, he's making connections there. But we also see MiRae kind of by herself, sitting and thinking about everything that Una told her, and her mom calls. And this is when we learn that MiRae's dad is not picking up any of her calls. And so she's very heartbroken over this because she misses her dad. She would like to talk to her dad. And she even tells her mom, I'm going to get some part-time jobs. I'm going to help pay for the surgery. That way it's not just a burden on you. And HyunJung comes up and MiRae asks her to take some pictures. And then we actually see Tae-shik, her dad, driving and hearing a voice message from his wife saying, this is where MiRae's at. She's really missing you. She said that she was going to help pay for the surgery, and that breaks my heart. Like, you've done enough now.
She feels bad.
Like, you need to, it's done. We need to move past this. And he goes to a restaurant, sees his wife there, and he just leaves and goes to a different restaurant instead. And then gets all of these pictures from MiRae. But in every single picture, her face is not shown. And she's doing, like, the finger heart, the heart over her head, and just, like, trying to extend that olive branch of, like...
I'm still me.
That
even though
my personality.
Face has changed, yeah. The thing that you were trying to protect is still there.
Right. Yeah. Well, then we see KyungSeok walk into his room, and he finds his sister, KyungHee, grabbing a beer from his little mini fridge. What a little sister thing to do.
Naughty.
And he's a little bit shocked, and then he just asks if she also smokes, and she goes, yeah, I should probably quit. And kind of shocking him. But this is when he learns that there's a possibility that she's going to be sent to the States for school to, a no-name university. She knows she's not going to get in to a big college. And she goes, I'm okay with that. Maybe I'll get a better allowance. But if anything else, I'm going to miss you. And then we see him take the beer and leave because his little sister really doesn't need to be drinking. And he's doom scrolling, and we see him put his beer down and then his phone, and he is very unhappy. At least his facial expression is reading that. And we just see a headline read, Na HyeSung appointed as president of Hankook. Kellen. I have to write it differently. Oh, yeah.
It's like me and JiHyo Oppa.
Yes.
Now I have to look because I'm paranoid that it's not actually that, and that
You're probably right.
You wrong. That's bold of you. Sometimes I'm dyslexic, so I just wanted to make sure.
You're good.
So MiRae and HyunJung, they are walking down the street. When MiRae stops, she hears like a noise, and she's like, what is that? And they kind of scare themselves into being nervous about it. You know how you do with your girlfriends, and you're like, did you hear that? But they rush home together. And the next day, KyungSeok, KyungHee, and Sangwon are sitting in a church service where the priest is speaking on the importance of family during tough times. And he pauses in the middle of his sermon to take a moment to introduce someone who lives out his faith in front of his family and works hard for the country, all while raising his children solo. Do Sangwon, who stands and bows before the congregation in a show of false humility. And after the service, the preacher blesses him, saying, "May the Lord help you in your election." And then later that day, we see Sangwon speaking with a Buddhist monk, thanking Buddha and the monk for his prayers. "So what's our religion?" asks KyungHee. And KyungSeok replies, "Isn't it obvious? Whichever has more followers."
Yikes.
I love that scene.
That one did kind of make me chuckle. I was like, oh, yeah. Calling you out, bro.
I just love that the kids are so...
They see it for what it is.
Yep, exactly.
There is no false...
But they also know that their dad has no shame. Because he knows his kids are seeing this. And he's just like, you keep up the act. Everything we own is riding on this.
Mm-hmm. You continue to get your allowance.
Exactly. Go ahead.
It was just hilarious. So it's the perfume event that MiRae had won tickets to. And MiRae and HyunJung, they walk in. They are excited. They are pumped. Mm-hmm. MiRae's kind of freaking out because this is what she loves.
See Atelier Cologne.
Just, yeah. And it's fancy. And this is, we see Woo-young walk up and gets introduced to HyunJung. And as he's kind of like making small talk, a woman walks up and MiRae begins to rate her and like goes over all these things and gives her a 100 out of 100. She's a perfect natural beauty. But MiRae catches herself and goes, "I did it again." This is the first time.
Yeah.
We've seen her go, "Okay, I'm doing this and this is not okay for me to do." Mm-hmm. But then she continues to stare at this woman and we see like a flashback. And it's this woman standing on the side of a highway with wind kind of just like blowing in her hair. And then this is when Woo-young introduces them to President HyeSung. And this is, you know, the woman who is now in charge of everything. And at the same time, in the car, Congressman Do is with his kids and gets a call from his secretary who he's actually tailing HyeSung. And he goes, "I don't see either of your kids here." And he goes, "Well, that's because they're with me."
He's like, "Stop talking, you imbecile."
No more. But KyungHee asks KyungSeok if, you know, she can use his phone, and he hands her his phone. And then she opens up and sees the headline that HyeSung has become the president. And KyungSeok kind of panics and realizes that his sister might see this headline and takes the phone back, but the damage is already been inflicted at this moment.
So it's back at the event, and it's Juno Flo giving a performance. That's a real artist. I don't know if you know that. Anyway, I don't listen to his stuff, but
never heard of him till this episode, or like last episode.
Yeah. But this captivates HyunJung, right? Because she wanted to go to this event specifically to see him. But MiRae is curious. Yes. Beans is judging you.
Beans. Never mind.
We have to introduce him. We have to introduce Beans.
So we have to introduce someone.
Very, very important.
Very important. It's Beans.
It's Beans.
Go away! Now you are in the video, you loser.
You gotta take the time to crop me out.
No, I don't.
It's Beans.
It's Beans.
He's a magical fruit.
I'm not gonna finish it.
I'm not gonna finish it. But look, he came back with Ashley.
Beans is an alpaca.
Beans the alpaca from Peru. He's a Peruvian alpaca.
And he's so cute and fluffy. And
you just need to, like, right in his booty. He's so soft. I can't tell you. Like, cotton balls have nothing.
No,
on
there's
Beans.
Unless you actually have the chance to feel baby alpaca fur.
Is this baby alpaca fur?
It's one of them. It's real alpaca fur. But it, like, the first time I saw it, it triggered the cuteness aggression.
I can't imagine why.
Hard.
He has a little hat.
He's so cute. I have one for my workplace, and his name is Paco. Paco the alpaca.
Now we need one named Rice, so we can have Paco Rice and Beans.
Yes.
Oh, Well,
So this is Beans. He's gonna hang out with us sometimes.
he's gonna be our mascot, and we will post him on our Instagram so you
Yes.
can see him up close and personal. But yeah, this is Beans.
This is Beans.
Okay, we took our intermission. He can live right here. It is back at the event, and Juno Flo is giving a performance, which he is a real artist if you have not heard any of his stuff. I also have not heard any of his stuff, so let me know if you like it. But HyunJung is completely captivated by him because this is the whole reason she wanted to go to this event in the first place. But MiRae is still curious about HyeSung. She's kind of watching her from afar, sort of waiting for an opportunity to breach this subject of, hey, I think I know you.
Right.
But none really present themselves. So HyunJung is over getting an autograph from Juno Flo, who comments on the fact that he saw her singing all of the words to his raps and that she must be a rapper herself. And she gets really excited about this, and she's like, hey, if I send you a track, will you listen to it? And he's like, sure. Yeah, why not?
And gives her like the artist hug, like the
super,
grab your hand, and,
yeah.
and she's just going,
Isn't that called dapping?
I have no idea.
I may cut that
Sure.
out.
Why not?
So MiRae is kind of saved the trouble of like hovering because HyeSung strikes up a conversation with her. And at this point, MiRae reveals that her dream was to become a perfumer after reading an article in a magazine that was given by her favorite perfumer. And so we cut away, and it's HyeSung giving a speech at this event, right? Because it's put on by her company. And she starts to reference this conversation she had with someone about a quote from a magazine she'd given in an interview years and years ago. But it says, the reason fragrances are beautiful is because they are not seen. Perfume may be the only beauty felt with your eyes closed. For those who are sick of our world's desire for visual beauty, I believe it can be a source of comfort. And my notes auto-corrected that. The reason fragrances are beautiful is because they annoy. Casual.
Yikes.
But to the coffee shop.
But to the coffee shop. So, Sua is working, and there is not just a line. There is a huge line of guys who are...
Say throng.
Yeah, they are wanting to order, and they want to just have a little interaction with Sua. And her boss even, like, brings out a stool for her to sit on. Like, she's getting so pampered. You could see, like, her coworkers in the back just be like...
The ugly ones. I'm using air quotes if you can't see. The ugly ones.
Yeah, they are how obnoxious. But JiHyo runs in and tells Sua she has great news. And she pulls out a yearbook from Jarong Middle School because they want to know. So they're sitting at a table after Sua's done with work, and they are very disappointed to learn that there is not a single picture of MiRae in the yearbook, not even in the group photos, nothing. And they're theorizing that she must have hated taking pictures, or she must have looked like a monster. Rude.
Yes.
Regardless, rude.
Don't be a bully, people.
Unacceptable. So we cut back to the event, and HyunJung asks MiRae why she doesn't just tell HyeSung that she was actually the one who had written that, or had said that quote. And MiRae's kind of being torn over this because she, after this conversation, she ended up getting surgery, and she's like, what would she think of me now? Woo-young walks up and he asks if he can treat MiRae, and she tells him that she's busy and also apologizes for, knocking the water out of his hand outside the store the night of the freshman party. And he tells her not to worry, but so he leaves, and HyunJung also leaves, saying that she has to write because she's now inspired.
So cute.
Like, when the mood has hit you, you gotta just do it. HyeSung walks up, and she actually thanks MiRae for helping her with the speech and for helping her remember what she had written for one article, like one magazine. That was the only time she'd ever written for one. And she then invites MiRae to dinner, and as they're driving around, they decide to just go for drinks instead.
At Berlin,
which is Yujin's bar. And he has already called KyungSeok to come help keep him company because there's not enough people right now. So then MiRae and HyeSung, they are putting back bottles of soju. There's like 3 or 4 bottles on the table.
HyeSung is throwing back.
Yes. MiRae's just like, man, I wish I could drink. I wanted to be able to drink like that. No, you don't. But she ends up telling her that she is envious because HyeSung is living out her dream. And HyeSung tells her that being envious is actually a sad thing. And she says being envious of something that's ordinary, not extraordinary, is sad. And as she's saying this, MiRae is just sitting there and reliving every mean and negative thing that had ever been said to her.
Mm-hmm.
And we see after she had, relived all of this, and after she had gone through all of this, she actually decided to climb up onto the side of a bridge. And she was, contemplating that decision of ending her life. And we actually see HyeSung grabbing her hand and stopping her and then hugging her. And so she loves this woman because this woman has saved her life in the past.
At that very moment, we see KyungSeok. He is walking in the street, and he's kind of meandering behind this, middle school aged kid and his mom, and she's saying, give me your backpack. You've had a long day. I'll carry it for you, and sort of just living in his thoughts about what that must be like to have that kind of relationship with your mom, ironically enough. But MiRae is just about to tell HyeSung that, I know you for this reason, when KyungSeok walks in the door, and he finds MiRae sharing a drink with a stranger, and as he approaches the table, he realizes that the stranger is actually his mother. And he stares at her in disbelief as MiRae explains that this is one of her classmates. But teary-eyed, HyeSung just stands up and says, "You've grown a lot." And he turns to Yujin and says, "Sorry, but I don't think I can help you today," and storms out the door. HyeSung kind of explains to MiRae, I'm his mom, and Yujin overhears this, and he rushes out the door after KyungSeok, but he is in no mood to talk. So MiRae puts HyeSung into a car with the driver and waves goodbye. And as the night goes on, KyungSeok is thinking back to a time when he saw his mother in a room in front of a vanity. She has a glass shard bloodied by an attempt to hurt herself in her hand. Or it's laying on the desk, I think, actually. But Songwon, their dad, has wrestled her away from the desk as KyungHee and KyungSeok watched. But KyungSeok, being a good older brother, shielded her eyes from what was happening because his mother was screaming and it was just not a pretty picture. I don't know if you noticed, but the little boy is Moon Woojin, who is also our young... I keep wanting to say Park Seo-joon.
Oh no, because that's the only name I can think of too.
Our
independent woman.
Our strong, independent woman. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. What is happening?
부장님.
I can't. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, and of course I have it all abbreviated in my old notes.
Oh my gosh. I forgot.
Yujin? No.
Yujin is the character.
Yujin.
Dude.
Crumb. I'm sounding like my grandmother right there.
Crumb.
Youngjun.
Thank you. He plays our young Youngjun in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. He also is in The King Eternal Monarch.
Maybe. But he's an adorable little kid.
He is.
He's so stinking cute.
But now we have both of our male leads from What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, both of their young counterparts in this show. But HyeSung, she is thinking back to happier times, back when she and KyungSeok were kind of smiling at each other out in the yard. But MiRae, as she's walking home, remembers her mother's words. Everyone may look fine, but we're all enduring our own hardships. And this kind of prompts her to want to talk to her mom at this point, so she pulls out her phone and gives her a call. But she pauses again, kind of sensing that there's someone behind her, and you can hear footsteps this time. But she disregards it. After hanging up, Eunjin, her mom, gets a notification on her phone that Tae-shik had deposited 5 million Korean won into the bank account, which leads her to call a friend to ask if the friend has heard from Tae-shik, because she still has not.
He's in his own recovery right now.
He is. It's hard because you see, I see both sides of the aisle where it just feels like they're making decisions without even asking.
There's no communication.
And
going
not
on.
that even if you're going to disagree with his no, I mean, you still could have told him.
Yeah.
That's being a family. But at the same time, being a family is also communicating after these
Having
things happen.
conversations.
So
And being like, you know what, give me some time.
Yeah.
Rather than just disappearing.
yes,
There's a difference.
exactly.
But MiRae has made it home, and HyunJung asks her, did you tell her that you had written that? And she tells her no. But as I was coming home, I heard that noise again. So, we need to be really careful. And at the same time, we see Sua walking up a lot of stairs to her place, which looks to be in a not so great part of town.
A bit more humble than the skyscraper.
Right. But she's getting on her computer and she is trying to find any alumni from Jarang Middle School. She wants to know. She cannot let this go. And then the next day we see MiRae and HyunJung on a bus. And HyunJung is not staying awake very well. So MiRae, being the friend, is like, I'm putting your head here. We're going to stop flailing
We're
around.
going to stop the little sway.
But MiRae is also looking up information on HyeSung because she wants to know more about the person who saved her life.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to school, and Hwano,
He's so funny.
he's hilarious. He is dressed in all black, and he's slouched, and trying to do the smolder.
Mm-hmm.
And Seonwon walks up, and he's like, "Yeah, they're just gonna compare you, so you just need to quit.
Yeah.
You need to stop." And MiRae walks in, and she sits down and looks back at KyungSeok because she now knows, kind of a little bit more about him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, KyungSeok is reliving seeing his mom. And then he gets up and moves to sit by MiRae and he asks if they can have a conversation. And so they meet and he asks her, how did you know that woman? And this is when MiRae's going, oh, okay, well, there's clearly a lot of
There's some tension there.
tension going on there. And he, he's annoyed but that they were together and why they were, going out for drinks if you only just met. But then he asks her to keep it a secret that she is his mom. And, she's like, I promise, I won't say anything. And he goes, well, you couldn't even do that when you asked me to keep your secret. And he asks her, are you the type who changes words like that too? I hate those who don't keep their promises. To which she responds, I hate those who vent their anger on others. And she's like, trust me, I don't care. Or I won't care. So you don't need to worry about this.
Cue intense stare down. From both of them.
Both of them, they're
honestly.
just like, nobody's backing down in this moment.
I think in this moment, though, he is trying to discern if she is suddenly taking an angle with him. Because he is kind of, honestly, he's given her a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Compared to anyone else that he's interacted with. He's given her a lot of time and conversation in ways that he has not offered to other people.
And just being there for her.
Right.
And
I think in that moment he was trying to gauge whether or not she had used that against him specifically, or if it truly was just a coincidence.
Right.
I think he's still mad about it, though. Either way.
But HyeSung is on her phone at her house, and she's looking actually at her daughter's Instagram, and just at the pictures and kind of just seeing the life that her daughter is now living. But then she thinks back to seeing KyungSeok and his reaction, and she's kind of a little heartbroken over it.
As you would be.
As you should be. You want to go from here?
Sure. So it's the library, and Yena happens to see an open seat by KyungSeok, which she sprints toward when it's available.
Doesn't she redirect somebody else?
Who is gonna sit there, and she's just like, you can have my old seat. We're there.
That one.
Thank you. But she offers him a study guide, which he declines pretty coldly before he just stands up and leaves. She's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm just going to go eat. Rather than offering, like, do you want to go together kind of thing. But she goes, his chic attitude is starting to get annoying. But MiRae is also in the library, and she kind of sees him walk past. But exams are over. Campus is buzzing with excitement, as it does. But MiRae and HyunJung are at a craft store looking at candle-making supplies, which MiRae plans to sell as a side gig. And as they're checking out, the cashier gives them the total, which catches them a bit off guard. They're like, whoa, we didn't realize we put that much in our basket. But MiRae asks for a discount, and HyunJung tells her, hey, use Aegyo as persuasion, right? So act cute.
Be cute.
Which she does. I'm going to hit you.
Please do.
But MiRae, she does it, and it's awful. Like, anime awful.
I literally, watching this, I paused it and was like, do I have to finish this?
It's really bad.
Like, my little tidbit that I just did isn't even, like...
No.
That's not even
No.
halfway comparable to the extreme.
HyunJung is so embarrassed, but it works. And the cashier is like, okay, I'll give you, that was interesting, but sure, why not?
Okay.
Please don't do that again. I will give you all the discounts. But I don't know if you noticed this. I think, and maybe someone else can verify this for us, the shop owner, I think, is Choi Sung-bum, which is the director of the show.
Oh.
So I think that was his cameo.
Okay.
I might be wrong. I Googled it really quickly, so I couldn't confirm.
Okay. Well, that'd be cool. That's cool for this.
It is, yeah. So MiRae and HyunJung, they decide to go get ice cream afterward, and MiRae is tickled pink by how well this Aegyo had worked.
Oh my goodness.
And HyunJung just goes, I'll hit you. And she goes, you told me to do it. And then she just, right in the middle of the forehead.
I really thought you were going to do that to me there.
You know me, my arms aren't long enough.
If we were closer.
We've established tonight that my arms are not long enough. Are you going to tell the story?
We were getting snacks at Walmart, and Kim's husband had asked for her to bring back like a thing of Arnold Palmer.
A can, but they didn't have any cans.
So we go back there, and Kim was trying to reach.
I was this close.
And she just goes, "Aw."
If I had been there alone, I literally would have had to leave without Arnold Palmer, because that kid was not any taller than I was. He was not reaching it
just
either.
Stand on the thing underneath and just. But I am like 6 inches taller, so I just reach back and pull it forward.
Anyway. Oh my gosh. That was very funny, though. That was hilarious.
Entertaining.
Anywho.
I do have to say, though, that I think part of why Aegyo, right? Aegyo is maybe a little more painful or secondhand embarrassment for us, is that's not a cultural thing for us to act cute to get something. Because if somebody acts cute to get something here, we're going to look at you like you're insane or you're going to get smacked, depending on the relationship you have with the person.
Yeah.
Like, my nephew or nieces try to act cute when they're doing something, especially after I told them not to. You want to act cute, you can go sit down in the corner. Like, but that's just not a cultural thing here. So I think that's why especially for me watching that, I literally just went, oh, swallow me whole. Like, so.
I love that HyunJung is just like, we get it. It worked.
Good
Move
job.
on with your life.
No more.
We know you're pretty. Thank you. But MiRae's phone rings, and it is HyeSung asking for a favor now that exams are over. Mm-hmm. And now it's the walk home. MiRae tells HyunJung that HyeSung is KyungSeok's mother. And she asked for a favor, which HyunJung basically tells her you can't turn her down because she saved your life.
Right.
And I had mixed feelings about this. And this is the first time I've really thought about it because I'm actually writing things down. But she did promise KyungSeok she wasn't going to tell anybody and immediately turns around and tells someone. And so maybe she is that kind of person who doesn't think about it.
Well, there's also like, I don't know if you've seen those memes, like, don't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody.
Except my 3 closest friends.
It's like my mom.
Yeah.
It's like my sister. Like, so I don't know if it's almost like this is a true
trying to discern
friend of like, if I tell this person's not going to say anything.
Right.
And she's going to be able to help me
process it.
Yeah, like figure out what direction I'm supposed to go with this. Like,
yeah. And I think that's kind of how I always just assumed it was before, but just having, like fleshed out the notes of it, I was like, yeah, she kind of
doesn't know how to...
is doing that thing that he accused her of. Whoop, there it is. Okay, anyway.
Almost instantly.
Yeah, almost instantly.
So we're at Berlin, the bar, and Jungboom is watching a new girl get trained, and she's super, super jealous. Which, to be fair, I feel her pain. Yeah. Like, you aren't going to hire me because my dialect or my accent. Like...
Which, by the way, not legal in America.
Yeah, in America, like, you can get sued for that.
Yeah.
So, there's that. But she's super, super jealous. And KyungSeok, he walks in and is beckoned to come sit at the bar. And Soojin is complaining about his business. It was so good at the beginning, and now nothing is happening. My father's prayers must be working. He wants me to fail.
But that's where we learned that his dad is the priest from earlier that day from the church service.
So, as they're drinking there, KyungSeok gets a message, and it is actually from MiRae, and MiRae is asking him if they can meet. And then the next day, the school is holding like a festival. It's like a couple days long.
It's called Zenith of Korea.
Cool. I'm here for it. And Sua is walking down the hall, and she's scrolling, and there's a picture of a guy that she actually likes the picture, and she gets approached by this girl saying that she has to help serve, like, at the bar with KyungSeok. Like, they have to be the ones that help serve. Obviously, it's because they're the pretty ones. You want the pretty ones there. And Sua's kind of on board, but also kind of just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And she watches out the window and sees KyungSeok and MiRae meeting and, like, talking. And we hear their conversation, and MiRae asks, if he'd gotten home okay, how are you doing? And then kind of gets this, like, weird smile, like, not like a more awkward, like, I think she's feeling pressured in this moment, but she asked KyungSeok if he would like to go out for a drink. And his facial expression was really adorable.
It was very cute.
Because he's just kind of, like, kind of smirking, like he's trying not to break this mask that he's had this whole time.
A little bit pleased.
But
she's asked him for a drink.
He's very tickled.
Yeah.
And we end our episode.
Character of the hour.
Sorry, we were kind of... Sorry, Beans, you gotta move. Okay, so I think...
Is it?
I think we had the same ones last time.
Yeah. That's character of the show.
Oh, yes, that's right. So we were kind of talking about this earlier. This was an episode it was hard to decide, I think. For me.
We'd kind of talked about it. There
wasn't a lot.
Siri, go away.
There wasn't a lot of
new development.
Yeah, stuff going on. But if I have to choose,
it's more of a relational development, not really a new
right. I
dynamic.
think it would be HyeSung. I don't know if you can see that. Because she truly is just a good best friend. She's always there for MiRae.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the situation is. She is there for her. And
tells it like it is.
well, and even just being like encouraging her to talk with HyeSung of like, hey, this person did this thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to tell her that, that quote that she mentioned, that was from you. You've done nothing wrong to be ashamed of. Like, it should be okay for you to be able just to have that conversation with her.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just she's bestie energy.
She is.
We love her.
Mine are KyungSeok and Wooyoung because KyungSeok is hilarious
Always.
and unchanging.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that we're starting to see a warmer side of him with MiRae specifically.
Yeah.
But also I enjoy that MiRae and KyungSeok are brutally honest with each other at this point. Now that he knows her secret, she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not afraid of you.
Mm-hmm.
But Wooyoung, I think he's just a stand-up guy. And
Taking care of everybody.
Yeah, I enjoy that he is kind of a friend to everyone, but a protector when he needs to be. So I respect that.
Absolutely.
Respect. Final thoughts. How we feeling about the drama? Are we warming up to it, or are we still apprehensive?
We're warming up to it.
What do you like about it?
I like KyungSeok's character a lot because he is unchanging. Again, I think he's hilarious, but I like that sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sense of humor I tend to
Gravitate
towards. But he doesn't put up with garbage from anybody. He doesn't care who it is. Like, if you're gonna act like a ding dong, he's gonna call you out for it.
Yeah. Especially if you think you have a leg up on people.
Right.
For any reason.
MiRae, I'm slowly warming up to MiRae. I think KyungSeok is good for her, calling her out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you needed surgery on your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had a problem with your thought process. That's what you should be focused on. Or putting up, like, calling Sue out and her starting to realize my little actions here mean nothing to him. He's going to find fault with whatever I do if I cannot get it together. And so, I don't know. I'm definitely warming up to it. There's still some things that I'm...
It's
but
a faster turnaround than Goblin was.
Oh, significantly so.
So, you're welcome.
Significantly so. But I can see why it's one of your favorites.
Yeah. It's like a comfort drama.
Yeah.
I enjoy that at this point we're starting to get more insight into who Sua is. Mm-hmm. They're kind of allowing us to peel back the mask and actually see what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Something's always kind of been a little bit off kilter from day one, but now they're letting us sort of see, I don't want to say like the sinister side, but maybe like the kind of conniving side of her, where she's like, if I can dig up something on MiRae, I'm going to.
Right.
For some reason, she has a vendetta against her.
Right.
Why, we don't really know. I also love that we have such a strong contender for second lead.
He is so lovely.
I enjoy a second lead that is a valid option for our female lead. I don't like, so like when we got into like the What's Wrong with Secretary Kim toward the end of the character development of the older brother, where it's just getting like uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. I'm like, let's keep it realistic. Like, these guys are, I don't know. He's practically could be a male lead if in another world, you know what I mean?
Right. So. Well, and you had said that already, of like, he and KyungSeok, they have so many similar qualities that's what make them so great. Of being the protector, being somebody who will stand up for others, making sure that people are okay. Like in episode 3, when they're grabbing each other. I mean, like, I don't know what your intentions are, but they might not be good, and that's not okay with me. And we don't see that very often in dramas.
Yeah. And they're both universally liked, but one is for
being pretty,
his personality, and the other is for being pretty.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
It's fun. I enjoy it.
I'm getting there. It's taking a little bit.
Well, good. I'm glad that you at least don't hate it anymore.
No.
Episode 1 is a little rough. I usually skip it on my rewatches just because I don't care to watch all the surgery stuff because it doesn't really interest me.
Episode 3 infuriated me on a level that I don't think Kim has seen me be infuriated with the show before.
Okay, let's be honest. Suwa infuriated you on a level.
No, Chunwoo.
Oh, Chanwoo, yeah, him too.
Oh my gosh. Well, and just like the whole him telling everybody to get out when he's obviously power tripping, and they do, that made me so mad because you don't leave somebody behind with somebody who clearly is unhinged. I don't care, and this is going to sound really terrible, I don't care if your culture dictates you do whatever elders tell you to do. If somebody's going to be in danger, you have to stick up for that person in danger. Because you would want somebody to stick up for you if you were that person.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's different than just being like straight up disrespectful. You're protecting somebody who could potentially be in a lot of danger.
Yeah.
So
do you have any unhinged theories? That's just me kind of catching you off guard. Or how far have you watched so far?
This is all the farther I've watched.
This is? Okay.
Yeah.
Any ideas about where the plot might go? This is a tougher one to guess on. But...
Yeah, this could be completely unrelated. I really want to know if, like, Junoflo and Hyunjin are going to, like, collab on something. I feel like that would be really fun.
Yeah.
I like that idea. That's the one, like, that would only be, like, unrealistic or, like, one that you wouldn't necessarily see coming.
Yeah.
I can already see who's going to end up together. It's going to be KyungSeok and MiRae. Because that's on the picture of Netflix. So I already know that one.
Sometimes, though, they do have other pictures, so...
Yeah, but that was one of the first ones that, like, as it's been up on my feed over the years.
Yeah,
so, like,
absolutely.
I want to know, I don't know what my theory is yet. It's not fully formed, of why his mom left. Obviously, there's some mental health things going on if she was being, torn away from continuing to hurt herself. So I'm not entirely sure what my theory is on that yet. But she left for a reason. I don't know what it is yet, though.
Sorry. I'm not as good at this as you are.
I told you. You just smile the whole time, and it's a lot easier to fake anything.
Okay, it's fine. Anything else? Anything else?
Everybody finds out what a fraud Suwa is.
Okay.
I think I just want that for my own personal justice.
Yeah.
That's all I have for right now.
Okay.
I mean, I have ideas about other things, but nothing, like, set enough for me to be like, yes, this is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So that is my little bit of unhinged theory so far.
I like it. All right. Well,
okay.
Come up with some better theories. No, okay. Let me try that one more time.
Wow. We are not watching Flex Cup tonight, are we?
Oh my gosh. Come up with some more fleshed out theories for next time. I'm so sorry. That was rude. Bye, y'all.
Come up with some better theories.
Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.